Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to Luther Family Ford. Steve Hallstrom here for the October salute to law enforcement. It sure feels like something more like November today, but they tell me it's still October for a little while longer, and I guess 70s are in the forecast, so we'll have to wait for that coming up here later in the week. This is always a really fun opportunity for us at Flag Family Media to join with Joel and his team at Luther Family Ford to honor the great men and women who support our community and serve our community with law enforcement and the great work that they do to keep things on the up and up here in our community. And we are thankful to have a number of members from North Dakota Highway Patrol here with us. Thank you guys and ladies for coming out today and spending some time here with us. It's great to see you all, and thanks much for all the great work that you do. Captain Bryan Niewind, I want to thank you for helping get this all put together today, and I'll come and visit with you here in a minute. But thank you, Bryan, for all you do and your leadership and helping us get this all set up here. I want to say thank you as well to Joel and the team at Luther Ford. Joel, this is something we've been doing now for a few years, and it warms our heart every time I know we get together and get a chance to do this, and it's something that we really enjoy doing. How about yourself?
Makes us feel good when we have this many law enforcement in our showroom.
Yeah, nothing's going to be going down here.
Feels safe right now. So thank you for what you guys do. We really appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of fun, and it seems like every month we get to do this. It seems like we get to meet some new people and see some new faces each time, and so that's a lot of fun. The men and women in the North Dakota Highway Patrol serve us 24/7, 365 across the great state of North Dakota, and we couldn't be more proud to be able to do this each month here. And so with that being said, it's time to meet this month's honoree. I'm happy to introduce you to this morning Sergeant Tom Herzig. Let's give him a warm congratulations here this morning. So Tom, tell us what this honor means to you.
Well, it means a lot, right? Look at the people that are here today. We got over a half a dozen troopers standing in here, and of course my spouse, Trish, and the Captain Niewind here. So always have good support within the patrol, and the people of North Dakota, right? So it's been a whole 30-year career, coming maybe to the end here soon, but it's been a great feeling. So thank you.
Great. Well, thanks for doing it. Congratulations on the honor. We'll hear more from Tom here in a minute. First, I want to read you a little bit about him, and thank you to the Captain Niewind's team for putting together a little bit of a write-up on Tom so that we can get to know him a little bit better. First of all, I want to thank Lieutenant David Wolf for nominating Tom for this award today. Sergeant Herzig began his career with the Highway Patrol in September of 1992 when he was hired as a motor carrier inspector at the Minot Way Station. Tom attended both Minot State University and Valley City State. While working at the scale, Tom applied and was accepted as a recruit trooper and attended the Highway Patrol Academy in January of 1997. Upon successful completion of the academy, Tom was stationed in Steele, North Dakota for a year, Medina for a year, and finally found his longtime home of Jamestown, North Dakota in 1999. Tom worked hard as a traffic trooper through those years, including being a Department K-9 handler to Bailey. Tom and Bailey were very active and placed first at the NDPOA K-9 Challenge in 2007 and in 2008. Tom was also the department's assistant K-9 trainer for 2 years prior to Bailey retiring. Tom was promoted to the rank of traffic sergeant in 2011 and remained in Jamestown. Sergeant Herzig worked in that area alongside other city and county law enforcement and fostered a great working relationship between the agencies. Sergeant Herzig spent many hours on the highways in the Jamestown area, patrolling and working with the troopers he supervised. In 2019, Tom took a transfer to a motor carrier sergeant's position, and that deals primarily with all commercial vehicle operations and regulations. Tom excelled in this area as he had a very broad knowledge base to draw on from his time at the scale and on the road. Tom is certified to conduct level 1 inspections on commercial vehicles and has specialties in hazardous materials and cargo tank inspections. Tom has also served on numerous committees within the agency and was a member of the DUI enforcement team. Tom is currently a member of the North Dakota Highway Patrol Honor Guard, which is often called on short notice. Tom is married to his wife Trish, and they have one son, Camden, who is a sophomore at Jamestown High. Camden competes in track, cross-country, band, and shooting sports. Trish is the University of Jamestown Director for Student Affairs. Tom is very active in the community and is a longtime member of the Knights of Columbus. He served on the St. John's Academy School Board for the past 6 years, 3 as board president. Tom was also on the building committee for the planning and design of St. John's Academy. He's a member of the St. James Basilica Church, where he serves on the parish council. Tom embodies the mission and values of the North Dakota Highway Patrol of integrity, loyalty, respect, commitment, accountability, and professionalism in everything he does. Tom is a perfect example of our agency's mission, making a difference every day by providing high-quality law enforcement services to our citizens. Good stuff. So, Tom, you've done a number of different things along the way there. Is there a time maybe in your life where you thought law enforcement was the right thing? Maybe at an early age you knew you wanted to go into law enforcement, or did something that just kind of happen as you went along the way?
Yeah, so as a kid, I guess I remember a deputy, across the street who really had a positive influence on me, and I got to know a trooper or two growing up through the teenage years, just as friends of the family. Landed a position at the weigh station, and as the troops would come in, after a year or two, they encouraged me to apply on the road as a trooper, and I thought you had to maybe be 6'4" and 250 pounds, and he said that's not the case at all. It's all about good communication skills and appreciating the people around you, whether it's the citizens or those you work with, and here we are.
Tell me something that you've learned about doing the job that nobody could have told you ahead of time. You had to go through it, you had to learn it, you had to be doing it day in and day out to really understand it.
I think it's just critical scene management, maybe, right? When that crash happens, it's super important to train and take your training seriously, because when it happens, you don't think about it. It's just all automatic, whether it's that serious crash out on the road, dealing with fatality, scene securement, traffic, and how it's all flowing around you, taking care of those that are injured, or even this most recent school active shooting type of a training that we had a scare on here just last week in Jamestown. So it all comes down to training, taking it seriously, and just acting and doing the right thing.
What's it like to have a job where you just never know what each day is going to hold? You talked about crashes and school active shooters. You just never know. Most of us, when we go to work, we got a pretty good idea what's going to come our way. Not so for you.
I think that's part of the fun, right? Is you have to be prepared. Make sure you've got everything in order, so when the call does come across, you're able to just respond accordingly. And it's a heck of a rush, no doubt about it. After the fact, there is a bit of a crash, right? You want to find that recliner and just sit back and not have to make any more tough decisions, but stay active, try to keep healthy and do what's right.
I want to ask you a little bit about that. After something like that happens, it can be hard to go home and forget about what you've seen, what you've heard. How have you been able to cope with that? Maybe that could be helpful to some of the younger people that do what you do.
I think it's critical to have it's important to have a good solid few people around you that you can really lean on, maybe not even in law enforcement. And of course, have a strong faith, right? You've got to. When it comes right down to it, that's really about all you're going to have. And as for the home front, have a great spouse, get a great son, and let that be your safe place, so that when you do come home, you can just kind of relax and have that good place to go to.
Yeah, for sure. What does it mean to see so many of your teammates here with you today?
That means a lot, right? This is what we do every day, though. So you've got to lean on everybody and appreciate the fact we've got some young troops coming up that have a lot of great talents. They can do things better than I can and never did. So that's a good thing. That's a positive sign, right? So appreciate who you have.
Yeah. What's the best part of your job? What do you enjoy most about what you do?
I really appreciate the professionalism of the Highway Patrol. That's something that I always admired, right? Try to have the shiny boots, try to have the sharp uniform, try to have a clean car. And then just the people in the community, get to know your communities. Your community will really stand behind you if you've established that trust with them. And that's one of my prouder moments in the Jamestown area is having gotten to know them very well.
One thing that Joel and I have talked about from time to time is how much we appreciate the professionalism. You talked about it, and not everybody treats law enforcement with the respect that is appropriate. How do you handle that? I've got to admit, I got to believe there are times that you feel your kind of blood boiling, your hair standing up on the back of your neck when someone is acting a certain way toward you and you're just doing your job and you don't have any ill intent, obviously. You're just trying to do what you need to do. How do you control that? How do you keep your cool when things around you start to escalate like that?
I think you always want to stay within bounds of being professional no matter what they're trying to do to get you upset. But once you're safe and those around you are safe, just kind of start to look at what's causing them to be upset. A lot of times it's fear-based for them. So just understand that root cause as to why they are so upset. Step back, keep everyone safe, and let them express themselves. Give them a minute or two to explain to you why they are upset. Usually they come down on their own.
Yeah. Well, it's that professionalism that means so much. I want to talk to Captain Bryan Niewind about that. And Bryan, no surprise to see Tom being honored, just hearing him talk about what he does and how he does it. Tell me about this guy.
You know, when I started my career back in 2000, Tom was one of the troopers that I looked up to. You know, he was one of the senior guys within our region. He's actually the last one left. He's for the guys that I started with in the Jamestown area. And, you know, I think when we talk about the example that he sets, you know, was described very, very well in that from the bio there from Lieutenant Wolf. But, you know, we talk about Tom, it's, you know, it's the professionalism he has, just the way he looks every day, the way he presents himself. It's the faith he has, it's his family life, all the important things in life that he puts first. You know, this job is important, but those other things are important as well. He just sets a good example for everybody.
Yeah. Of all the things that he has done, where do you think that he's been the most valuable to your team? I mean, it's probably hard to pick out a certain role, but where has he really shined for your team, do you think?
You know, I mean, he's been a trooper in the Jamestown area for a long, long time, and he's just a rock for that community there. If you think about the involvement that he has when it comes to his on-duty involvement, but also his off-duty involvement, he's a pillar of that community over there. Everybody in Jamestown knows Tom, and you know, our agency is going to be different without him being there. Obviously, we have a lot of young, great employees coming up that are going to fill the void that he has professionally within the job here, but it takes a special someone to fill that void off duty as well. And not everybody is willing to do that, not everybody wants to do that, but we want people to make sure that they're pillars of their community, and he sets a good example for that.
Whenever we get together, I always like to ask you what's happening on the highways of North Dakota. What are some of the trends you're seeing, some of the things that you're keeping your team on the lookout for that are seeming to occur on a fairly regular basis?
You know, some of the things that we're concentrating on right now is obviously we're going into the winter months. At any time here now, that snow is going to start flying, so we're preparing for that. You know, obviously getting all of our people prepared for that, but also we want to get the information out to all the public out there, just because our road conditions are going to be changing. With that first storm, we always have those problems. So that's one thing to be thinking about. But a couple of the things that we're really concentrating on is just the impaired driving, and you know, that's just a constant problem here in North Dakota. And we're out there on the lookout day in and day out. You know, whether it's the morning, noon, or night, we're looking for impaired drivers and trying to remove them from the roadway. And the other big thing is just that criminal addiction that we have going on right now. We have a lot of drugs that are flowing into our communities and through our communities, and we're trying to do the best job we can to try and interdict those before they actually make it, you know, onto the ground level and people are actually consuming them.
Are you seeing any trends or changing scenarios on what the drugs are or how they're getting here? Anything like that you feel like is maybe a bit of a changing story right now?
You know, everybody hears about the fentanyl, right? I mean, fentanyl is a big push nationwide right now to try and interdict that before it gets to the ground level. But meth is still a big addiction problem here in the Fargo area. So those are our two big, you know, when we talk about hard drugs that are causing issues in our communities. If you think about like the jail population, about 80 or 85% of the people that are in jail have a substance abuse problem. And if we can take care of that substance abuse problem, number one, through hitting the supply, but also giving them help on the back end as well with their substance abuse problem, I think we take care of some of the crime that we have going on as well.
All right, Bryan, again, thanks for your leadership. Thanks for helping us get this together each month. It's always great to see you.
Thanks for having us on.
Captain Bryan Niewind from North Dakota Highway Patrol. A couple thoughts as we finish up here along the way. Luther Family Ford has each month donates a gift card to the person being honored this month, and Tom and I were visiting a little bit about that ahead of time, and Tom has got a place here locally that means something to him. I'll ask you to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Sanford has a great department called the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. It's the NICU unit, and of course my son spent some time there, and how quickly did they become family? And I think we still visit a little bit back and forth with one or two of those nurses that have become so important to us. And that's where I'd like to see the money go today. Thank you for the donation on that.
Well, you thank the man to your right over there. It's Joel that makes that possible, and that is really a great blessing, and the people there I know will appreciate that. As we do every month we get to pay that forward. We get a lot of smiles and thank you, so they'll be very much appreciated. Want to say as well thank you to the Oslin family at Sandy's Donuts for providing some goodies for the team at the North Dakota Highway Patrol and Luther Family Ford as well. We've created an honoree section on our website, am1100theflag.com, where the biography of Tom and so many others that have been honored before him lies as well, and you can check that out whenever you would like to there as well. And we'll be inviting Tom to join us on the Need to Know Morning Show with Kevin and Alex here in the days ahead as well on AM 1100 The Flag. And the last point I always like to make at our news operation and in our company, when action's taken by law enforcement, it makes the news. There's a lot of sideways glances that sometimes are offered at that, and a lot of skepticism cynicism that comes that way as well. And we just know the training that these men and women go through to do what they do and do it so well. And we will always give the benefit of the doubt to the men and women who serve us in law enforcement in those situations. So again, please join me in saying a big congratulations today to our honoree, Sergeant Tom Herzig. And that'll do it for this edition of the Luther Family Ford Salute to Law Enforcement. We'll see you back here next time on AM1100theflag.com.
All right. Thank you.
Congrats again. Appreciate you. You got it. Trish, thanks for coming over.